second grade for English today. We are going to be learning more listening skills. Our pages are pages 335 to 336. And right now, I've got last week's page up just so that you can review a little bit so you can remember what we learned about listening. Listening means that you hear and think about the sounds and try to understand what you hear. Remember, it's really important to remember that hearing is just something your ear does all the time. Sounds come into your ears all the time, but that's not listening. Listening means you are actually trying to understand the sounds, to think about what those sounds mean. And it's much more difficult to listen than it is to hear. Unless you stop your ears up and put your hands over them, you can't help but hearing. But boy, listening takes a lot of work. And we talked about tips for good listening that you're looking at right now. And then remember, you did some listening directions on the triangle, circle, and square. And then we gave you a little story about Washington, D.C. And today I'm going to be giving you some more stories to listen to. So this is today's page that you're looking at right now. And we're going to learn why you want to listen. What is it you want to find out? When you are listening, you want to find out what the speaker is saying. 4 questions can help you remember the facts and details of what you hear. You know, and this is so interesting to me because we finally got back to church yesterday. I was so happy to go back to church yesterday. And Pastor Eshelman was actually doing this with our Bible verse that he was reading to us. And he said, when you're listening to these Bible verses, and he was in the book of 1 Peter, he said, you want to find who is it about, what happened, and how. Well, we're going to be listening for who, what, when, and where. You know, sometimes they call these the 4 W's, don't they? Because all of those words start with W. Okay, I'm going to be reading a story to you. You're going to be listening to it, and you've got to be thinking while I'm reading, or you won't get the answers. You want to think about the 4 W questions to help you remember the facts. And then after I'm finished reading the story, you can go ahead and mark your answer. And the story is about Bobby. Bobby woke up early and ran outside onto the porch to see the sunrise. It was so beautiful. Bobby and his mother decided to eat breakfast on the porch. They prayed before eating and thanked God for the beautiful sunrise and the good food that he gave to them. Okay, now you may quietly answer numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, did I give you enough time to finish? Let's go over and check our answers. And if you get one wrong, you're allowed to erase it and fix it. Who is this story about? Notice this is answering the who question. It's about Bobby, isn't it? What did Bobby and his mother thank God for? The sunrise and the food, didn't they? When did the story take place? That was in the morning. And where did the story take place? On Bobby's porch. And one of the things you might want to think about is, if you have the questions in front of you ahead of time as you're listening, it's much easier to listen to them and find them, isn't it? We've been doing that with the Treasure of Pelican Cove as you read. Notice I give you the questions before I let you read, and you find it's much easier to find the answers when you know what you're looking for before you start. And it's the same way with listening. It's much easier when you know what you're listening for. Okay, let's look at the back of the page. And yes, you're going to have another story to listen to. Okay, the directions say, listen to your teacher read a story. Think about the 4W questions. Do you remember the 4Ws are who is it about? What happened? When did it happen? Where did it happen? Well, those are the things you're going to be looking for. So think about the 4W questions to help you remember the facts. And after I'm finished, mark your answer. Here comes the story. Are you ready? Jill was excited. She was taking a trip with her family on Saturday. They were going to visit the aquarium. Her father told her about the beautiful fish and the sharks they would see swimming around the big water tanks. Jill also heard that she would be able to touch a sea star. Okay, now you may answer 5 through 9. You know, guys, I know it's awfully hard to do this without me actually seeing your face and you seeing my face. So I'm going to read it again one more time before you answer. So listen carefully. Jill was excited. She was taking a trip with her family on Saturday. They were going to visit the aquarium. Her father told her about the beautiful fish and the sharks they would see swimming around the big water tanks. Jill also heard that she would be able to touch a sea star. Okay, now you may go ahead and answer the questions. Okay, I'm ready to check them with you. Are you ready? How many of you put Jill for number 5? Good. If you didn't, let's erase and fix it. Number 6, the family was going to see fish and sharks. Number 7, when was it going to happen? On Saturday. And where was the family going? To the aquarium. And after listening to this story, what do you think an aquarium is? If you chose the last one, a building with ocean animals and fish in it, you were right. Okay, now the bottom of the page might look like a bit of a mystery to you. So I am going to do this a little bit different than they tell you in the book, because without me right in front of you seeing how fast you're coloring, it would be almost impossible for me to just give you a direction, let you do it, give you a direction, let you do it. So I'm going to give you all the directions for this page, and I want you to listen to the first direction, color that part with the tape stopped. Then you may push the play button and do the next part with me, and then stop the tape to do that part. And so you're going to be stopping and getting that finished before you do the next part. Okay, are you ready? You're going to need your crayons out. You're going to need blue, green, and a nice bright dark yellow. Okay, here we go. Ready? You're going to color all the number 2 boxes yellow. Color all the number 2 boxes yellow. Okay, when you're ready for the second step, color all the number 3 boxes green. Color all the number 3 boxes green. You're going to color the circle black. Color the circle black. Color all the number 1 boxes blue. Color all the number 1 boxes blue. And now I want to find out, what kind of animal did you discover when you listened and followed the directions? If you found all of those directions and followed them correctly, I want you to write the word on the big empty white space that you found. What kind of animal did you find? And if you hadn't followed those instructions, you're probably having a hard time finding the fish, aren't you? So if you've got fish written down and you've got all the boxes colored like I told you, you're going to have a really pretty fish. Okay, we will be back to do some more talking about English tomorrow.